we're going to do trig word problem practice now. You've done all the trig guides, part 1 through 5, and now it's time to practice word problems. So we have a plane that's flying at an altitude of 9 miles. So let's go ahead and start drawing here. So we got this awesome airplane. All right, there it is. And I don't expect anybody to be able to draw that good, okay? But here's the airplane. One thing that people tend to not do is draw the ground in word problems, because this says an airplane starts to descend when its ground distance from the landing field is 175 miles. So what it's doing here is it's flying at this course going out through here. Let me get off this line tool. There we go. So it's cruising along like this, and then it spots its landing field 175 miles away. So let's say that's right through here, okay? And this distance up to this point is 175 miles. It says, what is the angle of depression for this portion of the flight? Well, it says it's flying at an altitude of 9 miles. That's obviously important. So what that means is we can either look at it as it's off the ground this way 9 miles, or we could come over here and look at it this way from the landing field is 9 miles. But we have to start constructing a right angle out of this somehow. And you can see that it's going to form right here, okay, with this imaginary trajectory that this plane was flying at. But it says, what is the angle of depression from this portion of the flight? Most people don't know what that is, so let me show you what that is. An angle of depression is from the plane to the runway, and it's this angle. That is an angle of depression right there, because it's going down. It's like aiming down. An angle of elevation, like if you had a guy here with a gun, you know, and he's shooting or something like that, and he's aiming at a squirrel in a tree, and he raises the gun up, that would be an angle of elevation right there, angle of elevation. And let's just get rid of all that nonsense. So there you go. So this is an angle of depression. So we want to know what this angle theta is right there. That is theta. And to do this, very simple. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've been doing. So all it is you go from this angle and you name these two sides. This is opposite and this is adjacent. And so that would be what trig function, I ask you? Tangent. So we're going to go tangent of theta equals opposite over adjacent. And so we would substitute what we know in. We don't know the angle, so the tangent of theta would be opposite over adjacent. So that's 9 over 175. And just so you know, I'm going to delete this, but you would have miles here, and you would have miles here, but they would cancel each other. They would totally cancel each other. So you might as well just forget that. The units have to agree first, but when they do, you're good to go. So it'd just be 9 over 175. So the buttons you would hit on that. Second tangent, 9 divided by 175 equals. And so that should wind up being an angle of elevation, a theta, of 2.9 degrees. Now this makes sense, right? Because a plane descends very slow, very gradually. I mean, you don't want grandma hitting the ceiling when this thing starts to descend. So if you get an angle, that's the complement of this, you know, the complement of that, 90 minus that would be, what, 87.1 degrees. I mean, you could imagine the terror that would happen when you descended at almost 90-degree angle. That's almost straight down, but that's how you would do something like that. Have a good one.